Hi, I'm Avrami Glazer, and this is Kol Geula. All my life I was told that Mashiach will come in an instant. Beis Hamikdash will appear in a fiery ball from heaven, and the shofar will sound, and overnight the world will be in redemption. But one Friday night years ago, I had an experience that made me wonder, maybe it's already happening. Back when I was single, I lived in a little neighborhood called Nachlaot, in the center of Jerusalem, and I had a little music studio. And every Friday afternoon, my friends would come by, we'd sit together, sing some Shabbos Nigunim, play some Shabbos music, and then we'd head out towards the Kotel for the Shabbos night davening. We'd walk down Yafo Street after the train stopped running. And as we got closer and closer to the old city, the streets would start filling with more and more Jews of all kinds, birthright groups, Chassidim, Ashkenazim, Litvaks, Sephardim, every kind of Jew. When we reached the old city walls, it was golden hour. The sun would light up the stones in a beautiful glow, and at that point we were surrounded by thousands of Jews, all in their journey, but all heading in the same direction. And that walk made something very clear to me. The return of the Jewish people to Jerusalem isn't just a prophecy. It's unfolding right before our eyes. Chazal call it Ikvaseh de Mashiach, the footsteps of Mashiach. Not one dramatic event, but a series of steps all leading towards redemption. If that's true, then that walk wasn't just a Shabbos stroll. It was part of something much bigger. And if we look around, we can see those footsteps all around us today. The Nevi'im gave us signs, and in our generation, they're more visible than ever. One of the clearest signs the Nevi'im gave us was the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. For 2,000 years, Jews were scattered all over the world. But today, there are more Jews living in Israel than any other country in the world. If you would have told someone 100 years ago that after 2,000 years of exile, there'd be millions of Jews living in Israel, they would think you were crazy. But yet, it's a reality. And with that came the rebuilding of the land of Israel, with beautiful neighborhoods, thriving communities all over, and especially in Jerusalem. Over 1 million people live in Jerusalem today. And there's something even deeper. For centuries, travelers wrote about how empty and unproductive the land of Israel was. But the Torah says that when the Jewish people will return, the land will give its fruits again. Today, Israel exports fruits, vegetation, wine, you name it, to the whole world. You can see numerous vineyards around the country in a place where there was nothing but dust for thousands of years. And another sign that isn't necessarily in the prophets, but I think it's worth noting, is the return of the Hebrew language. Who thought a few hundred years ago that millions of people are going to be speaking Hebrew, and that's going to become a common language that Jews can communicate in, and not just the Torah scholars. And speaking of Torah, never before have there been so many Jews learning Torah all across the globe. There's an explosion of Torah learning in every community, in every country, every hour of the day. Yeshivas, kollalim, thousands and thousands of Jews are learning at every given moment across the globe. And lastly, we see that the world is paying very close attention to Israel right now. This global upheaval, including wars that are mentioned in the prophets that will happen in the end of days, like Israel fighting a war with Iran, which is mentioned as Paras in Yecheskel chapter 38. When Adam Arishon ate from the fruit, he was cursed, by the sweat of your brow you will eat bread. But the Gemara tells us that in the times of Mashiach, bread will grow on the trees. And yet the Rambam says that nothing will change. Nature will stay the same as it is. I think AI could explain the difference. We're going to live in a world where there won't be any human input necessary to live in a plentiful and abundance-filled world. AI is so powerful, it could remove the need for any kind of human work. The fields will be powered by AI-driven robots that will plant the seeds, water them, harvest the fields, grind the wheat, add the water, make the bread, and deliver fresh, ready-made bread without a single input from a human being. Could it also be dangerous? Of course. But I think it could be a sign that we're entering a whole new stage in history, and that's something worth thinking about. So maybe Geula isn't only one miraculous moment. Maybe it's a process we're already living in. The return of our people, the rebuilding of our land, the fruits of Israel feeding the world, the stirring of ancient prophecies in the headlines, and now a technological leap that changes how humanity works forever. So the question is, will we open our eyes to see it? Thanks for watching.